Welcome to the Nothing Much Just Chillin' Show with your hosts Emma and Julio. Nothing much, just chillin' show. Nothing much, just a chillin'.
Welcome back to NMJC, aka Nothing Much Just Chillin', or welcome if you are new here. I'm Emma, and this is my podcast. That's not really a podcast, it's more of a heart to heart. So if you're into that kind of thing, please stick around and follow me on Spotify, follow me on Apple Podcasts, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have 33 YouTube subscribers now. That is more than I've had in the past, okay? So I'm gonna take the win. Guys, I know it's so shocking, but I survived a week without Julio here. I was all alone for a whole week. I was going through it as I detailed in my last episode, but the next few days after I recorded that episode they were life-changing, to be honest. And Julio, actually, he listened to my last episode where I was talking about how people who are successful will be like as a way to comfort people or be relatable, they'll be like, no one knows what they're doing. No one ever knows what they're doing. And now I was like, that is such a bullshit thing to say. Like, that's not good advice. Because if you're successful, you obviously know something. Like, you know what you're doing in some capacity. Like, you can't just like not know your way to the top. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know. Maybe you can. A lot of people fail upwards in this life, so mainly men. This is not a podcast episode where I'm gonna shame men. Don't worry. Don't click off, men, please. No, but Julio reminded me that I do know what I'm doing. I do know. The things that I'm doing, I know how to do. And maybe in the grand scheme of things, I don't feel like I know what I'm doing, but I have some things down really well. And I think he is just the person who sees me the most. He's the one who sees me working, sees me shooting, editing, temping, like all the things. Like, he's right there beside me. I think he's just a very supportive boyfriend, and he's just observed me across many stages of life, pre-pandemic, BP, before pandemic, if you will, or BC, before COVID, during the pandemic, and then now after, right? Are we in a pandemic anymore? Isn't it like not a global health crisis or something like that? I don't know. You guys know what I mean. I think Julio's right. I think I know what I'm doing for the most part, but my passion, photography and videography and everything creative with that, I don't necessarily, I've honestly just been in a rut with creativity in general for a long time now. And that's honestly why I started doing temp jobs last year instead of like try to make all my money from photography and video and editing and stuff. That's why I reached out to the temp agency. I'm like, I need a job that is just for money, that there's no passion in, it's nothing to do with photography, video, entertainment, like anything that I want to do. It's just me answering the phone. It's me filing paperwork and me doing the shit in the office that nobody else wants to do. Going to the mailroom, setting up lunch, giving out snacks. I was just like, I need a mundane thing that has nothing to do with what I want to do in life to just pull me away for a second, to have me like embrace a new way of being, a new way of working, but to allow me to learn to have gratitude for my creativity again. I just needed to like pick myself up and toss me into an environment that I can thrive in, but has nothing to do with my creative pursuits, to just kind of like get me out of my head, get me into my body, and allow me space. Like, sometimes you just need space from the things you love or the people you love. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I just needed a restart, a refresh, basically. And having temp jobs last year allowed me to do more creative photography gigs that were, completely free. Like I didn't get paid for doing LA Fashion Week or New York Fashion Week. And I'm so grateful for those experiences, even though I didn't get paid at all. I met so many other photographers. I met so many models. So I did something this weekend that I have been thinking about doing for a very, very, very long time. As a creative, I'm inspired by other creatives. And as a photographer specifically, I'm inspired by other photographers. And there's this photographer, her name is Jessica Kobesi, and she has a YouTube channel. And on her YouTube channel, she makes videos that are 4 photographers shoot the same model and location. So it's her and then 3 other photographers, 1 model, and they all style the model a different way. And then each look is like at a different location, but similar location, but maybe like different background, if that makes sense. I don't know. You guys, you need to watch her videos. They're so good. And they are my favorite videos to watch because you get to see the final product. The YouTube video is like the whole process of them shooting, and everybody has 5 minutes to shoot the model. And everyone is, talking to the camera, saying like how much they like the background or not, or how much they don't, or how much they like the styling or whatever. Like they'll just comment on the shoot, and it's really funny and it's really interesting. And then at the end of each look, it'll show on the screen the final image from each photographer for that look. I've had an idea to recreate this type of video for so long. And, all credit to Jessica Kobesi for the idea, but I wanted to do it with some of my photographer friends and a model in one location, just like her. But instead of YouTube, I'm going to be putting the video on TikTok and Reels on Instagram. So I, this weekend, made a 3 photographers shoot the same model and same location video. I have not finished editing it yet, but it's coming soon. It'll hopefully be something that you can watch in the next couple weeks, and I'm so fucking excited. So basically, I organized a whole production for this idea. I asked my friend Maya and I asked my friend Sam if they would be the other photographers with me. So it's 3 photographers. And then I asked my friend Chelsea, who is a model, she's a professional model, to be our model. And then we all styled Chelsea in our own like vibe and in our own way, using Chelsea's clothes, like the stuff she already had. They all came over, Maya, Sam, Chelsea, and Sam's boyfriend Kyle, because he helped us with filming some BTS content for the video. And they all came over. We picked out 3 looks for Chelsea, and then we all drove to Malibu. And then we each had 5 minutes to shoot each look. And we like changed up the location within the location, if that makes sense. But it was such a fun day. It was so fun. Honestly, before it, I was so nervous. I was really, really nervous before the shoot because I'm like, should I even be doing this? Like, is this dumb? Like, I don't know if I'll like it. Like, this may be too hard. I don't know. It's just like feeling like kind of like uneasy about it. And then the second that everyone came over and we got it all styled and then we went to like the whole time that we were together was electric. It was so much fun. And I am so, so glad that I did not listen to my self-doubt in that moment and didn't cancel on them and be like, listen, I don't know if I'm up for this. I don't know if I'm up for this today, because that fear is so, it's just being human. Like I get scared before every single one of my shoots. Honestly, I get nervous, but then afterwards I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I did it. Or like, that was such a good learning experience or whatever. Like I'm always, you know, that quote, like feel the fear and do it anyways. Like that's a good one. That's a good one. But yeah, the shoot went really well. I did do film, so I was also very nervous at the shoot because I was jealous that they could look through their camera roll and see if they got the best pictures, because I was just trying to figure out, like look back in my brain. I'm like, do I think that I got the right shots? I don't know. It was really hard to do it with film, but it all worked out. I got my film back and I really love it. I really love my film. I'm so excited for you guys to see this video. I'm so fucking stoked. So I've wanted to recreate this video for so fucking long, like years long. But years ago, I didn't have any photographer friends that I was that close to that I would want to do something like this with. And I also didn't have any models like wanting to shoot with me like I do now. So that access now that I have to my photographer friends and amazing models is, I don't take it for granted. I'm very, very grateful for that. I'm really proud of myself for doing it and going through with this idea and making it happen and planning it and all the things, because I feel so accomplished. I feel so confident in my abilities to organize something like this again. And as, you know, a producer of a project / director / I don't know, everything. But also as a photographer participating in like challenges like that, because challenges are so fun and I never really do photography challenges. Like I haven't done, I mean, it feels like we were doing like a homework assignment for class, like I did, you know, when I went to school for photo and video. So yeah, I've had this idea for so long, but I didn't know the right people. I couldn't like see it in my head working. And yeah, nothing ever like felt right. But I'm so glad that this idea stuck with me through the years and that it didn't go away. And that brings me to bringing up this book. If you're watching a video, you can see it and see all my post-it notes in it. But this book, it's called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, who also wrote Eat, Pray, Love. That's her most famous piece of work. But yeah, Big Magic is an amazing book. And I actually started reading it when I was moving to LA, like on my road trip to move to LA. And I remember reading it and being overwhelmed by like how much she was making sense. It was hitting me in a way where I think I just wasn't ready to hear the hard truths that are in this book. But I always felt like I would pick it up when it felt right, when I felt ready to create living beyond fear. That's the fucking that's the little tagline on the front cover. And I just had this like intense feeling like I'm gonna pick it up again when I'm ready. And sure enough, I feel ready. The things in this book are so helpful for anyone pursuing a creative career. And on top of that, anybody going through a creative rut like I was. The takeaway that I had kept from this book all these years since I've picked it up, and I think I read the first like 40 pages, but the main takeaway that I have kept is that an idea goes away. An idea can leave you as fast as it enters you. That sounded wrong. An idea is basically nothing unless it's acted upon, you know, like even this podcast, having the idea to do a podcast, having the idea to name it NMJC, like all of the first time I record, like every time I record, it's an idea and I'm acting upon it, right? But I felt for so long that I didn't have any creative ideas flowing, because I think I was just I was basically in the mindset of like, why would I do this? But now I'm in the mindset of like, why not? Why not? Why not take something and run with it? Why not have an idea and then act upon it? Ideas grow tired of waiting, okay? If you wait too long, to act on an idea, it's going to go to somebody else. It's going to go to somebody else that will appreciate it and that will take action. Growing up and still now, I always am thinking about songs. I love songwriting. It's one of my hobbies ever since I was 7. And sometimes I'll think of a lyric or a melody, and if I don't immediately like write it down in my notes app or sing the melody in my voice notes, I won't remember it. It'll be gone. That's the same thing. Any creative idea that you have, like, it's gonna go away or leave you if you don't act upon it, if you don't write it down to remember it. I mean, also if you do that, write it down to remember it, and then you don't act on it and then don't finish the song or whatever, like, it's going to go away. You're going to lose that momentum. You're going to lose that passion that you had in that moment to actually create. But this book, she talks a lot about how ideas want to be appreciated. Ideas want you to want them. They're going to go where they're wanted. So if you're not taking advantage, if you're not acting upon them, they're going to go elsewhere. But some ideas are more stubborn, and they will burden you. They will burden the back of your mind until you act upon them. And I feel like that's what this photographer shoot the same model series that I want to do. I feel like that has been in my head for so long that I was like, I need to just do it. I need to plan it. I need to ask people. I need to just do it. And I need to do it even though I'm fucking scared as fuck. Even though I have so much fear right now, I need to just make myself do it. The theme of this whole podcast this year, like, you know, my New Year's resolutions, I just want to do things. I need to start doing things and not just thinking about them. And sometimes also what plagues people is they think that their idea isn't original enough. But newsflash, nothing is original, okay? Everything in the world has already been done. There's just nothing that like hasn't been done before in some capacity. But as long as you're not copying like word for word, you know, and you're just taking inspiration from and then making it authentic to you, that's amazing. Whatever you do, no matter who you take inspiration from, you need to do it with your own voice and with your own heart. And that will be authentic. Growing up as just a creative person, I always felt like this spark or fire. I think I would call it fire to myself when it happened when I was younger. But now I think I would just call it like a spark of inspiration. But there would just be like this intense feeling that would take over me. And I would just be like, I have to do this now. I have to act upon this now. And I've continued to have that over the years, whether it be working on a project for school, working on a photo shoot, video shoot, working on a song, making a fucking bracelet, making a necklace, making food, cooking, like anything creative. It's like maybe, I don't know if I would equate it to like getting into a flow state, but you know when you just have like so much drive to do something in that moment, like more than you have in the last like a week or whatever, and you're just like, oh my God, what has come over me? Elizabeth Gilbert in this book, she describes it as fairy dust. And I think the way that she describes it in this book is so cool. In this book, she talks about when you're in a creative career, you're not going to feel that like magical motivational feeling like every time you sit down to work. But yeah, okay, I'm going to read you guys this little paragraph. Most of my writing life, to be perfectly honest, is not freaky, old-timey, voodoo-style big magic. Most of my writing life consists of nothing more than unglamorous, disciplined labor. I sit at my desk and I work like a farmer, and that's how it gets done. Most of it is not fairy dust in the least. But sometimes it is fairy dust. Sometimes when I'm in the midst of writing, I feel like I'm suddenly walking on one of those moving sidewalks that you find in a big airport terminal. I still have a long slog to my gait and my baggage is still heavy, but I can feel myself being gently propelled by some exterior force. Something is carrying me along, something powerful and generous, and that something is decidedly not me. You may know this feeling. It's the feeling you get when you've made something wonderful or done something wonderful. And when you look back at it later, all you can say is, I don't even know where that came from. There's some projects that I look back on or some shots that I've taken where I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know how I did that. But I was just in a state of inspiration. I was being propelled by something bigger. What I would like to think is just the universe. And I don't believe in God, but I believe in the universe, and I believe in energy, and I believe that the energy that you put out into the world is what you get back. And maybe the way you get out of a creative rut is not the same way I did, like taking space from it and really allowing myself to just rest from all creativity and let myself just do mundane things and wait for it to come back, because that's actually not good advice. Like I like her advice of, you're just doing it every day, and sometimes you have creative inspiration and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it feels like all the forces in the world are conspiring to help you, or it feels like they're against you. And I think I just got really sensitive to the feels like it's against me part. And I was just like, I gotta go away. I gotta step away from this. But creativity is a gift. I've been given such a gift with my eye, like I've been given such a gift to have such a creative eye when it comes to photography and videography. And I don't want to not appreciate that anymore. I can't just spend my life waiting to be inspired, because it doesn't work like that. When people say like motivation is not like, you're not going to be motivated every day to work out. Like it's discipline. It's the same thing with your career. It's the same thing with your craft. You're not always going to feel inspired, and you can't just wait for inspiration to hit you. You have to just keep on going. And then when inspiration comes and you don't act on it, if you don't act on that inspiration, if you don't act on that idea, it's going to leave you, or it's just going to burden you in the back of your mind, being like, why the fuck didn't you act on that? Why didn't you do that thing? And it's going to be a whole lot of regret. And I'm so glad that I acted on this idea and that I did it this weekend, and that I'm going to edit it. And I'm happy about my photos. And it was just such an amazing day. I loved working with Maya and Sam. They're the best. They're both so talented. We all have completely different styles of photography, so it's going to be so fucking cool. Like I can't contain my excitement. A reason why people don't act on their ideas, right? Like I didn't act on mine for so long because I was like, I don't know of anybody who would do this with me, and I don't know if I want to do this with anybody that I know right now. And I didn't have the right resources, and I wasn't feeling confident enough to ask people to help me out with it. And I wasn't even feeling confident enough in my craft to put myself out there like that as well as a photographer. But a lot of us think that we need this like permission to go after our goals, to go after our dreams, to act on ideas. And the reality is that you don't. You don't need anyone's permission to do anything. Art has always been art. People have been creating art and making stuff since the beginning of time. So why are we waiting for permission, or why are we waiting to have an audience before we make something? Social media is just a tool. You don't have to take the like numbers or how many followers you have or how many likes and comments. Like you don't have to take those things into consideration when it comes to your art, because your art is just yours. You make it, you decide to make it, not for anyone else, not for praise, not for any external sources. Like you make art just because you want to. I'm making this podcast for me, really. The things that I talk about are things that I need to hear. They're things that I need to process. They're things that I want to say out loud and kind of work through, most of the time. And also I love having just like a video, audio diary of my life. Social media aside, opinions from others aside, I want to live a bright and colorful life. I really, truly do. And I want my life to be full of acting on creative ideas. And I'm not afraid anymore to be seen trying. And that's so, so important. I'm going to say that again. I'm not afraid to be seen trying. Because even using the example of this podcast, like not many people listen to it, right? But I'm still doing it. I'm still showing up every week because I like it. Because I like the process of creating it. It makes me feel accomplished, and it makes me feel good to just like get my thoughts out of my head. You shouldn't just wait for stuff to happen to you. You shouldn't wait for somebody to give you permission to do something. And if you need permission, this is me telling you right now, I give you permission to do whatever the fuck you want, to create whatever you want. Just create, make. That's what life's about. Life is art in and of itself. But yeah, for so long, I was so hard on myself. I was like deep in like self-pity. I notice like when I'm in a pattern of self-doubt and self-pity, like that is not attractive for inspiration. That's when I don't get inspired. When those are the moments where I'm literally just waiting. I'm like, something happened to me. Something happened to me. Give me something, universe, because I'm in such a bad negative space. And that just does not breed for positive outcomes in any sense. But I have learned now that I have to tell the universe, like, I enjoy creativity. I enjoy my creativity. And you know what? The creative process, there's good and bad. There's ups and downs. This is the first episode of this series that I'm doing, and I'm planning on doing so much more because it was so much fun. And I think it's just going to be really I think it's going to be really fun to edit. I mean, I'm editing right now and it's really fun, but it is the first time I'm ever doing it. So I'm just excited to get better. That's another thing about wanting to like hone in on your craft. Like you have to start somewhere. And I think that the starting is what really gets people because of opinions from other people or self-doubt. And we can't let the fear of the opinions of others, and we can't let ourselves block us from what we're meant to do in life, from what we're meant to do that day, from doing the things that are gonna make us feel accomplished and fulfilled and happy, and just things that we're doing for fun. Literally fun. Like this podcast is fun for me. That shoot was so fun for me. Editing videos, editing photos are fun for me. And I needed to remind myself that I really needed to take that break and come back to it with like a fresh heart, soul, eyes, and just lay my self-doubt and self-pity and worry and fear to rest. I mean, of course, I'm going to experience all of those emotions still at some points because I'm human, but I don't want to let fear hold me back from acting on the creative ideas that I do get, because those creative ideas are such a fucking gift. That's so crazy that creativity just comes into my mind and I can choose to act on it or not. I can choose to write that song. I can choose to do that shoot. Another quote that I wanted to read from the book is, it's talking about saying like, I am a writer, I am a singer, I am, those kind of affirmations. And so I'm trying to say to myself, I am a photographer, I am creative. And so also at the end here it says, I am this and I am that and I am also this other thing too, because you can be multifaceted. I don't know yet exactly what I am, but I'm curious enough to go find out. That's another thing. Be curious, especially when you're at a point in your life where you're like, I'm not even sure what I want to do. Just try a bunch of things that you're interested in, and you'll figure it out along the way. Okay, so this is what it says in the book. Speak it. Let it know you're there. Hell, let you know you're there, because this statement of intent is just as much an announcement to yourself as it is an announcement to the universe or anybody else. Hearing this announcement, your soul will mobilize accordingly. It will mobilize ecstatically, in fact, because this is what your soul was born for. Trust me, your soul has been waiting for you to wake up to your own existence for years. My soul has been waiting for me to wake up. It really has. And I feel it. I really do. This past weekend was just such, and like reading this book, I was like, I'm at the right place at the right time. I'm on the right path. I'm really hopeful. I'm really hopeful of the future. I'm really proud of myself for so many things right now, but mostly like getting myself out of a really dark place. The next quote after that one, trust me, your soul has been waiting for you to wake up to your own existence for years. But you must be the one to start that conversation. And then you must feel entitled to stay in that conversation. Not only do I have to say, like, I am a photographer, I am a podcaster, right? I have to keep going. I have to keep creating. I have to keep on believing in myself, believing that I am that. You know, it's one thing to say it, but it's everything to believe it. It's everything to believe in yourself. So yeah, how to get out of a creative rut? Well, buy this book. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, it's a great book. And I think no matter what, if you're in a creative career or not, like I think this book could be helpful because it's like creativity isn't everything, you know? You don't have to have a creative career or be pursuing a creative career to have this book, to read this book. It's really for everyone. She literally says in it a bunch of times, like you could just do things creatively just for fun, not for money, just for fun. And I mean, I have been doing that. So yeah, how to get out of a creative rut? Well, you don't have to do what I did. Everyone is different. Everyone is motivated by different things. Everyone has different paths in life. And I hope that if you reach the end of this episode that you can just take a little bit of inspiration from my story, because I know that I feel so good right now, like getting to speak about this on this episode, getting to share that I did something wonderful, something that I have been wanting to do for so fucking long and that I just never thought I could. Like I really in my mind was like, this seems too hard. This seems like too much work, too much planning, too much asking things of people. And like I said, like even before I was so scared, but I just did it. And I'm so glad that I did, because now I feel so motivated. I feel so creative. I feel electrified, and I feel ready to live beyond fear. So yeah, I've been really flowing with my creativity lately. I think that a week alone was actually really good for me. I wrote a song. I actually sat down at the piano and wrote a song, and I haven't done that in a very long time. So I'm proud of myself for that too. But that, again, that's just for fun. I mean, this series that I want to make more of, you know, the 3 photographers shoot the same model and location. Like it's just for fun right now. And it feels really good to just do something creative for fun and do my passion for fun with other people who are also equally as passionate. So yeah, that is the end of the episode today, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you next time.
Nothing much, just a chillin'.